What's up everybody, Super Rhino 57 here with another mod tutorial, and I know it's been a while, but this time I'm going to be covering the refined storage, which is the 1.10.2 Minecraft update of pretty much applied energistics with several differences actually. It's going to be a two-parter. First part is just going to be about making your ME system, about storage and everything. Second part's going to be automation. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it. The first thing you're going to need is quartz enriched iron. Really easy to make, just 3 iron, 1 nether quartz. You get 4 quartz enriched iron, and you will need a lot of it. These are only a couple of recipes, but it takes a lot of quartz enriched iron. So go ahead and stock up while you're getting your ME system set, or I'm always going to call it an ME system, your refined storage system set up. Anyways, so the first machine you're going to make is called the solderer. And what you need is 2 sticky pistons and 6 quartz enriched iron, and you get the solderer. You're going to need machine casing, which is just 8 quartz enriched iron, and a controller for your refined storage system, which is 1 diamond, 3 silicone, the machine casing, and 4 quartz enriched iron. Now silicone, as you can see here, says Ender IO. However, there are 2 different versions. Where is it? It's over here. There it is. Refined storage adds its own silicone. All you need to do is smelt some nether quartz. But I prefer using Ender IO just because, as you saw in the recipe, all you gotta do is take a sag mill with a bunch of compressed sand. Easy to do. All this is Sky Factory version, since that's the mod pack that I became introduced with this mod. So some recipes may vary, which I'll show you 1 or 2 examples later on. But anyways, diving right into it, you are going to need processors just like in applied energistics, but the difference is the way you get them is you get the basic processor. As you can see, it says printed basic processor, printed improved processor, printed advanced processor, and printed silicone. All you do is smelt these. Smelt iron, smelt gold, diamond, and silicone. Doesn't matter which version of silicone it is, you smelt it, you get the printed silicone. You smelt the diamond, printed advanced, printed improved, and printed basic. It's just as easy as that. So that's nice. Now here you have the controller, set it up. I got creative capacitor, so it does need power, but that's it. And then the solderer has to be connected to the controller, so that's why I went ahead and showed you the recipe to get all this. It's because you do need to connect the solderer to the controller. Now, as you can see, the solderer has 3 inputs, 1 output. There's room for upgrades. I'll explain those later. But now that you have your capacitors, or your processors, printed silicone is in every single processor, and then you have the 3 different types. And we're going to need some redstone. There we go. And all you do is you can shift click it or drop it in. Printed silicone goes on the bottom, redstone in the middle, and then whichever processor you want, put it in the top, and you'll see it starts crafting. Same for gold and the printed basic processor. And that's how you get the processors you're going to be using in the recipes. There they are. Basic processor, improved processor, and advanced processor. So it's easy like that to get started. Depending on how far you're wanting to go, like I prefer starting with 16K storage system, and so I do need diamonds. But if you just want to go with the 4K, you don't need any diamonds at all, just the basic processor, silicone, which let's go ahead and get into those recipes in a moment. You're going to need your disk drive to put your disks in, so you will need 2 diamonds, 2 advanced processors, 6 quartz enriched iron, and you have your disk drive. I got one set up right there. I don't know why I wouldn't grab that one. Then your cables. Now notice it's just plain cable. There is no weak cable, no dense cable. This mod got rid of the channels, so there is no limit on channels. However, too many, I guess, could cause lag. Maybe. I don't know. But, so, once you get your cable, you can add all your machines, everything to your controller. Don't have to worry about limits. Then you got your disk drive. You put your disks in there, and the way you make your disks You got your 1K storage part, your 4K, 16K, and your 64K. That's just like in the Applied Energistics, except the recipe is a little bit different. It starts off with redstone. Actually, there's redstone in all of them. You got glass, 4 silicone, and your quartz enriched iron. Quartz enriched iron is in all of them as well. Like I said, you're going to need a lot of it. So you make 3 1K storage parts. It gives you 1 4K storage part. You make 9 1K storage parts. Gives you 3 4K, which allows you to make 1 16K. Okay, so you're doing the math. You have to multiply each time. Multiply by 3. So 27 1K gives you 9 4K. Gives you 3 16K, which allows you to make 1 64K. Granted, that is a lot of resources. However, if you also do the math, 1K times 3 should be 3K. You upgrade. So it does upgrade. It does give you benefits. And then you just do the same recipe. You just upgrade the processor every time. You got 4 basic processors. And then the 3 storage parts, redstone, quartz enriched iron. Upgrade the processor. You got the improved processors. You upgrade the storage parts. Boom, 16K. Upgrade the storage parts again. Upgrade the processor again. Boom. Now, to get the disk drive, you need storage housing. There's 2 recipes you can do with this. You can either take the storage part and the storage housing and just put them in a crafting table together, like so. Oh, I guess it won't let me shift click them in there. And boom, you have the 64K disk drive. Or, alternative, there we go. This recipe right here, you can just put the storage part inside of it when you're making the recipe, and it will automatically give you the 64K storage part, so you don't have to worry about the blank housing at all. Or, alternatively, for purposes later on, to make a pattern, you use the same recipe, you just put glass in the middle. Just like that, you no longer get storage housing, instead you get a pattern, which I'll explain more on that in the second part, which will be automation. But moving on, you got your 4 disk drives here. Just throw them on in your system, and boom, you're good to go. Now you're also going to need construction core, which is a basic processor and glowstone, destruction core, basic processor and nether quartz, and this will help you make your grid. Grid is sort of like the what was it called? The panel from Applied Energistics. So you need construction core, destruction core, 2 improved processors, 1 machine casing, and 4 quartz enriched iron, and you get your grid. Grid just lets you view and take in and put out, or pull out. That's all it is. So kind of boring. I have never used the plain grid or the plain panel. I always go for the crafter. The crafting grid, you just need 1 grid, an advanced processor, and a crafting table, and you get the crafting grid. And just as its name implies, and just like in Applied Energistics, it gives you a little crafting table, and you can put things in here, make your recipes. Simple as that. Then you also have your pattern grid, which allows you to create patterns. But a nice thing that this mod developer did is when you're making your patterns, you no longer need all the items included. So, say I want to do a pattern for iron sword. It gives me the recipe. I do not need iron or sticks in here. It automatically puts the ghost block in there. So that's really awesome. Good job to you. Moving on, you also have your crafting monitor, which I'll delve more detail on it with the automation part. All the crafting monitor does is allows you to see what's crafting at the moment with all your automation. When you tell it to craft whatever, and say there's 10 different processes, it'll show you how far it is in each process. So I personally don't like it, just because, like I said, all you're doing is viewing. You can't really affect it. You can tell it to cancel. That's it. So, and then now we're done with the storage. Now we're going to fluid. You got your, you don't have the 1K, 4K, 16K. Instead, fluid starts off with 64K. The reason is it only handles buckets, and so 64 buckets, pretty much. You got 128 buckets, 256 buckets, 512 buckets. Same recipe, except instead of redstone in the middle, now you have a bucket, just like that. And then for your fluid, same recipe for the storage housing. You put your fluid storage part in the middle instead, and you get your storage, your fluid storage. So that's that. Also, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, another difference he changed is it no longer has a limit on types of items. Like before in Applied Energistics, it had 0 of 63 items, and then the 16,000 blocks. However, he got rid of the 63 types, so you can store 16,000 items in this disk with no limit on what types. So you can have one type of 16,000 different blocks, and it will all hold in this one disk. So that's another nice little feature. Like as you can see in here, I've got 100 redstone, 100 gold, 100 glowstone, and it's not dividing it by types, it's storing it as 300 units. So that's awesome. Another nice little feature. Kind of weird, but at the same time really beneficial, because I know with Applied Energistics I would fill up the types way before I would fill up the blocks, and so it would just kind of waste a lot of space. And moving on, so that is how you get your fluid system set up, get your ME system. So now you have your crafting grid, your disk drives, all your units, and as you can see right here, it tells you how many you have in there, how many you can have in there. Now you can also have multiple controllers or disk drives and set this one as a priority. So if you have another one down the line, be like, okay, I want everything to go in this one first, this one second. So there's that. Then you have all these little settings over here. Access type, insert and extract. Insert only means you can no longer take out. Then you have extract only, lets me take out of it, but I cannot put in it. I don't know why that's a feature, but hey. You got void excess items. Now what that means is if you fill up your storage units and you're still pumping, like you have an automated system, you're still pumping stuff in there, tell it, I do not want anything else, throw it away. Again, I'm not sure why. Compare or dictionary, no. What that means is, like, if you have multiple mods that have different, like the two different silicones, is it will divide it. So that is weird too. Compare NBT, that's just like damage on swords, on armor, tools, all that stuff. Compare damage. Wait a minute. Pretty sure NBT, I guess it's not including damage. I guess those are separated. NBT also can be for colors of like wool and clay. So I guess they separated those. Not typical to see that separated though. That's weird. Type is items, fluids. Items does kind of also include the fluids. So right now I don't have any fluid in here. However, if I made, let's see, do I have it in here? Huh, I guess I don't. Let me get a fluid monitor, which the way you create your fluid monitor is just grid, bucket, advanced processor. Simple recipe. That's where I figured I had everything listed. I have a bucket of water. As you can see, I can't click it because it's just plain water right now. However, if I gave myself a bucket, the way it works is it searches your inventory first. So now that I have a bucket, if I click that, it takes the bucket, fills it with the water. Shift click it, puts the water right back in. It will search your inventory first. Then, if you have no bucket, it will search its own internal inventory. Still give me the bucket. As you can see, there's no more bucket in here. So it searches your inventory first, internal inventory, and then it gives you the items. Now it's holding one bucket of water. You can see 1,000 out of 256. So there's that. That covers everything for the creating your storage system. Now, I guess I'll see you guys next time for the automation. Bye-bye.